Good morning, guys. Let us start with the last part of the chapter, which is based on application of derivatives. In the previous class, we had finished with maxima and minima of the function. Now, when we talk about applications in economics, it is all related to demand, supply, cost, all those things. So how does derivative apply to demand, supply and cost if obviously the price of the commodities? We have to see that in this particular part. So let us start that with all the points one by one. The first one when we start with is if. You can write it along with me. If C is the total cost and X is number of units may be produced or they can be purchased, whatever, then there are two things that I have to remember over here. Point number A, the average cost, and the point number B, the marginal cost. When we talk about the average cost, it is nothing but total cost divided by number of units. So average cost over there is represented by C with a suffix A, which represents average cost. We can say CA over there, and it is given by C by X. Whereas marginal cost, if you remember from the first exercise where we had done the concept of marginal demand, I had told you that wherever we come across the word marginal, it always represents the rate of change. So when I represent the marginal cost, it is actually rate of change of cost with respect to the number of units. We know that the cost over here is C and the number of units over there is X. So rate of change of C with respect to X, I'm sure you can get that by writing it as dC by dx. Let us take a small example for this. Suppose if the question gives me that if total cost of producing X items is C is equal to 3x square minus 2x plus 5, and if I want to find out then find let us take it as plus, so let us find marginal cost if X is equal to 7. So it's very simple. We start with C, which is equal to 3x square plus 2x plus 5. Differentiate this with respect to X. So I can say that marginal cost representing by C and the suffix M dC by dx, derivative of 3x square 3 into 2x plus 2 into 1, and 5 is a constant, so 0. So I have got the marginal cost as 6x plus 2. Now it's asking us to find the marginal cost if value of x is 7. So in this place, in the derivative, we have to put the value of x as 7. So when we do the substitution, we have to say over here, when x is equal to 7, marginal cost 42 and 2, that comes out to be equal to rupees 44. So similarly over here, in case if you are asked to find the average cost, so we can say that in case if it is asked in your question, so we can do it like this. To find the average cost, I will say CA, that is total cost, divided by x. We had seen that the total cost is 3x square plus 2x plus 5 divided by x. So just divide all the terms over here separately. Plus 5 by x. Cancel off these both terms. So I will get 3x plus 5 by x plus that 2 becomes constant. Once again, if x is equal to 7, I will get over here 3 into 7 plus 5 by 7 plus 2, 21 plus, let us take LCM, so it will become 19 upon 7. 7 into 2 is 14, 14 plus 5 is 19. Again take LCM over here, so that will give me 7 into 1 is 7, 7 into 2 is 14 plus divided by 7. So 49 and 7, that will give you, that will become 6 divided by 7. So that comes out to be your average cost. Now next part over there is based on the revenue. When we talk about revenue, first thing that we should know is what exactly is the meaning of the word revenue. In general, we say that revenue is exactly equal to the income. Say for example, if suppose you have a store which is of, let us say, ready-made clothes, and you want to, or if some customer comes to you and he tells you that, sir, I want a t-shirt for myself and the cost of t-shirt is, let us say, 500 rupees. When we are talking about the cost is for the customer and not for us, because we are the shopkeeper. For us the shop cost is different. For the customer the cost is nothing but the MRP, that is the printed price that is given on the t-shirt. Suppose MRP of the t-shirt is 500 and the customer buys one t-shirt from you, then he is going to pay you 500 rupees. So 500 rupees becomes your income, it becomes your revenue. Suppose if there is some other customer who comes and buys 3 t-shirts of the same kind, so in that case you will get 500 rupees for each t-shirt. So 500 for one, 500 for the second, 500 for the third. So overall you will get 1500 rupees, which will become your income or it will become your revenue. So in short, when I talk about revenue, a very important point I need to remember over here is that revenue is always equal to price per unit multiplied by quantity demanded. This is a very important point you need to remember out here. After this, now when I want to find out the average revenue RA, it is given by total revenue divided by the quantity. Suppose if I assume that the total revenue is R and the quantity demanded is D, so I will get RA is equal to total revenue upon the demand. Now guys, if you see one thing very carefully, this is my total revenue, this is my quantity demanded. If I take R divided by D, this gets opposite side in the division, so I am left out with price per unit. So actually I can say that the average revenue is exactly equal to price per unit of the commodity that is under consideration over here. So when you are given the information about the revenue and you are given the information about the demand, it is not necessary that you will be always asked to find the average revenue, but probably you can be also asked to find out the price per unit. So the formula will be the same, total revenue divided by the quantity, that is R upon D. So that is your formula number 1. Formula number 2, marginal revenue as usual RM, and as we discussed in the previous case, whenever the word marginal comes, we have to find out the rate of change. Rate of change is just obtained with the help of derivative of that function. So I can say that the marginal revenue over here is given by dr upon dd, because revenue is dependent on the quantity demanded, therefore the revenue changes with demand. So when I say rate of change dr by dd, it means it is rate of change of revenue with respect to demand. So let's understand an example, guys. It says that if the revenue function is R is equal to d square minus 40d plus 25, and you have d is the demand, it's asking us find the values of d if the value of R is an increasing. Now when we talk about increasing and decreasing function, so it goes to your exercise number 2, the logic and the concept of increasing and decreasing functions. We had seen that for increasing function, the value of f dash x was greater than 0. Yes, and for decreasing function, the value of f dash x was lesser than 0. So we have to apply this concept over here in this particular question with the revenue function. So let us see how we can do this. We start with our given function R is equal to d square minus 40d plus 25, and we will have to say over here differentiating with respect to d, because the variable under consideration over here is d. So you get d square, derivative will become 2d, this will become minus 40 into 1, and 25 is anyways a constant, so we don't need to worry about that because derivative is 0. So over here that becomes my 2d minus 40. So we have to write over here now, since revenue is increasing, the derivative is greater than 0, and therefore 2D minus 40 is greater than 0. Take this 40 on the opposite side, it will get positive. So 2D is greater than 40, and therefore I can say that D is greater than 20. So we will have to write our final answer by saying it like this. Therefore, revenue is increasing for all D greater than 20. Okay, similarly, the point number 3 that we have is based on demand and supply. The demand and supply, they both are functions of price. When I say functions of price, it means that demand and supply, both the things of any commodity, are completely dependent on the price of that particular commodity. So if I assume that D is equal to f of p, then I can say that the value of marginal demand is given by f dash p. Similarly, if I say S, that is the supply, is equal to f of p, or probably, in order to not make it confusing, let me assume it as g of p, some another function of price, then I will get marginal supply S g dash p. Generally they don't ask us to find the average demand or average supply. We are asked to find the questions of marginal demand or marginal supply, but it is just a basic derivative, so I guess everybody must be comfortable with that. जब भी डिमांड पूछा है, मार्जिनल डिमांड पूछा है, तो डिमांड फंक्शन का डेरिवेटिव निकाल देंगे. मार्जिनल सप्लाई पूछा होगा तो सप्लाई फंक्शन का डेरिवेटिव निकाल देंगे. The question tells you over here that the cost of producing q items is given by q raised to 3, that is q cube minus 600 q square plus 1200 q. We need to find the value of q for which the average cost is decreasing. This c value over here is actually given to you as the total cost, because he is telling you producing q items. So just listen guys how we apply this concept over here. Total cost is as usual C, which is equal to plus 1200 q. Now because I have to show, or I have to find the value of q for which the average cost is decreasing, first thing that we need to do is to find the function of average cost. So when we want to find average cost, we know it is given by CA, and it is the total cost divided by the number of units. Generally we assume it as C upon X because general variable is X, but here he is taking it as Q items, so we will take it divided by Q. So I will get the answer Q raised to 3 minus 600 Q square plus 1200 Q divided by Q. When we separate and divide all the terms by Q, you get the average cost as plus 1200. Now guys, this is the function which we have to find out Q such that the average cost is decreasing. So now for decreasing average cost, first thing that we will do is differentiate this with respect to Q, because the variable out there is Q. So I will get derivative of the average cost. Derivative of q square is 2q minus 600 into 1, and 1200 is anyways a constant, so just derivative is 0. Leave that. 2q minus 600. Now once again we have to write over here, since the average cost is decreasing, the derivative has to be lesser than 0. This implies that 2q minus 600 is lesser than 0. Therefore 2q lesser than 600, and therefore I can say that q is lesser than 300. Now one very important point that we need to remember over here, guys, I'll explain to you that with the help of a small number line. Suppose if I have a 0 somewhere over here, I have the value 300 over here, and obviously to the left it goes up till negative infinity. Now when I say that the quantity is less than 300, it will go to the left of 300 up till this. But the thing is, the quantity cannot be negative. Therefore, what happens is, even if it is going to the left, it will go and stop at this point. Beyond this, it is not possible. So our final answer will be, therefore, average cost is decreasing if 0 less than or equal to q less than 300. Minimum value for the quantity is 0, and upper limit as per our condition comes out to be 300. Remember guys, depending on the question, we have to decide how we have to give the range. So here it becomes lesser than 300 because the quantity cannot be negative, so I am capping it at 0.0. A similar question I had taken in the previous case. Here I had told that the demand is just greater than 20, but we did not think anything of this kind over here, because greater than 20, guys, all the numbers are positive, so we don't need to worry. Demand can be anything about 20, it can go till infinite. If there is a very large company, they can have lots of production, and definitely they can have a huge revenue from that. So demand is greater than 20, which is positive, but the cost, it cannot go, the quantity cannot go below 0. Therefore I am capping it at 0. The elasticity of demand D, if I assume, if demand D of an object, or we can say commodity, is a function of price P, then elasticity of demand is given by minus P upon D into dd upon dP. Now this symbol over here is written n with a long tail, and it is called as eta. It is a Greek letter like alpha, beta, gamma, all those things. So it is one more Greek letter, eta, and this is used to represent the elasticity of demand. The example over here says if the demand function is d is equal to p plus 6 upon p minus 3, we have to find out the elasticity of demand at p equal to 4. So let us see what we can do over here. We start with the d, which is equal to p plus 6 upon p minus 3. If you observe your formula, we require dd upon dp, which is the derivative of demand with respect to price. It means that we have to differentiate this function with respect to p. So we will write over here, differentiate with respect to p. When I want to differentiate this, I have to apply my u by v rule, which is v into derivative of u minus u into derivative of v divided by v square. So in that case, dd upon dp is given by p minus 3 into derivative of p plus 6. Derivative of p is 1, derivative of 6 is 0, so you get 1, minus u into derivative of v. So p plus 6 derivative of p minus 3. Derivative of p is again 1, derivative of 3 is 0, so again we get over there 1, divided by v square, so we just keep it as p minus 3 the whole square. Open the brackets in the numerator, p minus 3 minus p minus 6 divided by p minus 3 the whole square. Just get rid of that positive negative p, you get negative 9 divided by p minus 3 the whole square. So that is the value of derivative of demand with respect to price. But we need to find out the elasticity. So now the formula for elasticity, it is minus p upon d multiplied by, which is equal to minus p upon d. Your demand function is p plus 6 upon p minus 3. So let us substitute this over here. P plus 6 upon p minus 3. And the derivative function over here is negative 9 divided by p minus 3 the whole square. Now this denominator is a fraction, so it will get reciprocal, so p minus 3 will go in the numerator, and positive and in fact negative and negative signs will get cancelled off. So I will get p minus 3 into p into 9. This p plus 6 remains there in the denominator, and p minus 3 as of now stays there, but now I can even cancel off this. This is your required function for elasticity, but we are interested for elasticity when the price is 4. So now the last part says substitute p is equal to 4. So elasticity is 4 into 9 divided by 4 plus 6, 4 minus 3. So that becomes 36 upon 10 into 1. I can write elasticity is equal to 3.6. Remember guys, it is just a constant, so you don't need to write any units over there. You just write elasticity as 3.6. Next thing that we have is based on something called as marginal propensity. In general, propensity का सिंपल मीनिंग होता है मार्जिनल कैपेसिटी. ठीक है, कैपेसिटी टू कंज्यूम अ सर्टेन प्रोडक्ट और प्रोबेबली कैपेसिटी टू सेव फ्रॉम योर इनकम is not the same for everybody. It always keeps on changing. So rate of change of consumption and the rate of change of saving, in general it is called as marginal propensity to consume. This is the first part. If suppose you are earning 100 rupees a month, out of 100 rupees, how much part is getting consumed by you for your essential activities, and how much part is getting saved by you for your future purpose? So these are the two things that we have to see over here. So let us see how we get this. Come on. If I assume that the consumption expenditure is equal to EC. E represents expenditure, C represents consumption. So EC represents consumption expenditure of a person depends on his income, and let us assume that the income is X. So I can say that expenditure is a function of X. When I say f of X, so it means that expenditure is a function of X. We over here are interested in finding the marginal propensity to consume. In short, it is written as MPC. So in that case, I can say that MPC, when we talk about the marginal word, it is always going to represent the derivative. So I can say this is equal to derivative of the expenditure function, or probably you can also say it as f dash x, but this is very rarely used. Generally in all the problems we will be representing it like this, that is derivative of the expenditure function. That is one thing which is the marginal propensity. Other than this, sometimes we can be also asked to find out the average propensity to consume. This is given by APC, and we say that average is nothing but total upon the number of units. So total over there is the expenditure divided by the income, which is X. So that is the first thing which is related to the consumption. A similar point we also have for saving. So write down point number 2, then we'll take example which is consisting of all these points together. Point number 2 is marginal propensity to save, which can be denoted by MPS. Once again, if I say over here, if S is the saving of a person whose income is X, I can say that MPS is equal to derivative of the saving, and APS is the total saving divided by X. But these formulas are very rarely used. With the help of MPC and APC, we can directly get the value of MPS and APS with the help of a small shortcut. So what is the shortcut? Let us see. We say that MPC plus MPS is always equal to 1. So from here I can say that MPS is equal to 1 minus MPC, and APC plus APS is also equal to 1. So this implies that APS is equal to one minus APC. In this example, we have to calculate the values of MPC, MPS, APC and APS. Expenditure function is given to you in terms of I, where I is representing the income of that person. So we start with the given function EC, which is equal to 0.0003 I square plus 0.075 I, and we have just now seen MPC is derivative of the expenditure function with respect to the income. In the above formula I had written it with respect to x d by dx of EC, because I had assumed over here that the income was x. The given question is telling us that the income is I, so according to that I just change my formula derivative with respect to I. Now over there 0.0003 is a coefficient, I square is similar to x square, derivative is 2I, plus 0.075 I is similar to x, so the derivative is 1. So I get the MPC function as 0.0006 I plus 0.075. He has told us that I is equal to 1000 rupees. So I can just say over here, if I is equal to 1000, MPC is equal to 0.0006 into 1000 plus 0.075. So on multiplying 0.0006 and 1000, you will get 0.6 plus 0.075. So guys, we are ready with one part of our answer, 0.675. So that's the first part. From this I can directly find MPS by saying that MPS is 1 minus MPC. As I told you that the shortcut is MPS is 1 minus MPC, because the saving function has to be known if I want to use this formula, and generally they will never give you the saving function, they will always give you the expenditure function. So from the expenditure function we first find MPC, and then from MPC we will go to MPS by using 1 minus MPC. 1 minus 0.675, it has to be 0.325. So that is the required value of your MPS. Now the next, when I want to find the value of APC, it will be equal to the expenditure divided by the income. In the above example it was X because that was the general formula. Here it is I because the question says that the income is I. So now guys, 0. plus 0.075 I, we divide these both terms with I. So in this case we can cancel off this and this. So I am ready with my APC function, which is Now because I am given that I is equal to 1000, substitute karo, you are ready with your answer. 0.0003 into 1000 plus 0.075. So that is 0.375. I guess everybody is comfortable with this kind of calculation. So APC is ready. Now when I want to find the value of APS, it is going to be just 1 minus APC. This is equal to 1 minus 0. And on solving, this will be 0.625. The relation between marginal average and the elasticity is actually very simple. If I say that if RM is our marginal revenue, RA is the average revenue, which can also be called as price, which we had seen in our previous class, and if eta is the elasticity of demand. Then in that case, RM is equal to RA into 1 minus 1 upon elasticity. This is a very important formula based on which the sums are asked in almost every year exams for 2 marks. You will be given the information about the marginal revenue, average revenue, and probably elasticity will be asked, or maybe they can give you the information about the average revenue and the elasticity, and they can ask you to find out the marginal revenue. In the similar way, they can also ask us to find the value of average revenue when the marginal revenue and the elasticity are given to us in the question. Suppose if I consider a very easy question, suppose if I say if marginal revenue is given to be, let us say 25, and elasticity is, let us say, 4. Find the price of the commodity. If suppose this kind of a question is given to you. So in this same formula, I know that the average revenue itself is representing the price. So when I write this formula, I can say over here RM, which is equal to 25, elasticity, which is equal to 4. So I will get over here RA into 1 minus 1 upon elasticity. Therefore, I can say that RM is equal to P into 1 minus 1 upon elasticity. Reason, since the value of RM itself is equal to price of that commodity. We know that over here RA itself is the price P of that commodity. Now substitute all the given information. So I can say RM is 25, P is unknown, 1 minus 1 upon 4. Therefore 25 is equal to P into 3 by 4. Then in that case just take the reciprocal of this 3 by 4, so you will get P is equal to 25 into 4 by 3, and 25 into 4 is 100, so I can say this is equal to 33.33. As simple as that.